I literally don't know how to start this video. Okay, so hello there again. In case you're hearing some noises from like the TV or something, that's the TV. What a delivery, Sarah. Yeah, that made a lot of sense. Yeah, good job. I'm generally gonna try to make this video as short as possible, but I mean, that has worked really well in the past now, hasn't it? So, because there's a world pandemic and I have literally nothing else to do, I decided, hey, why not host a Draw This in Your Style challenge? That'd be kind of fun. Now, the funny part is that I actually wanted to like look into the internet at first to like participate in a Draw This in Your Style challenge, because lately I've been kind of in a rut and kind of depressed. Not gonna get into it too much, just artistically I've just been kind of discouraged these days, and so I decided, okay, you know what, let's just try to distract ourselves a little bit and, you know, get into some stuff and all that stuff. My wording today is just A+. So I decided that no matter what stupid idea I had or whatever art idea I had, I would just do it. Not filter it by saying, like, this wouldn't get any views, or this isn't really interesting, or I'm not exactly in the mood. I just decided to just shy all above it and just give myself the freedom to just do whatever. I know that sounds like a weird thing, like you'd think that artists do that anyway, but I don't know, I've just noticed that sometimes I just kind of refuse to do things because of this and that. So I decided maybe I should just let myself go and do stuff, and one of those things that are perfect for this kind of mindset is Draw This in Your Style challenge. But when I actually got into like and or Twitter to check up on some of these challenges, I realized a lot of them are hosted after the artist like got into a milestone, like a few thousand followers or something, which would be great to have for myself, but and so it's always like a celebration of how many are watching them, and this might be just me, you can disagree with me on that if you want. I just feel it would be a bit disingenuous to draw from these artists who are hosting this when it was specifically for this kind of celebration for other followers. So I got a little bit confused on what to do, and you know, I know what you're gonna say. I could have just, you know, looked up on the internet a few minutes more to just, you know, see the ones that are actually just kind of out there without a celebration or something, but it had to be immediate. I wanted to have this desire to draw immediately, and so I decided, hey, why not make my own template? You call it the template? I don't know what you could call that, honestly. All I know is that I decided to do my own, which I guess you could say isn't exactly the best idea to do when I don't really have a lot of followers or subs accounts in general, but I thought, hey, it's for fun. I just need something to be out there. So I thought about it a little bit and decided to draw a character, an OC of mine, into it so that other people could draw it. Now, the funny thing about this is that I was thinking about putting a very more frequently used OC into the Draw This into Your Style thingy. If you're not following me on Twitter, these names probably don't really ring a bell, but Sophie or Rakeshak first came to mind, and while their hero designs are really interesting, I kind of wanted to draw people like, you know, people like in their civilian forms, and I've kind of been on a run on this in general, that my characters don't really look very visually interesting and all that stuff. Like Sophie just straight up just wears a hoodie. There's nothing really all that interesting about her. I just sometimes draw her also with a pouch, but that's about it. I don't even draw that most of the time when I post her on Twitter. Rakesha would have probably been a choice because of her color scheme, but dressing wise, she's also not exactly that interesting. I mean, I love her. I love her mane like golden bleached hair, but other than that, she's just, you know, not all that interesting looking in general. So I was kind of thinking about it, and then I realized I have an OC actually that does look very visually interesting. Probably the only characters among my OCs that actually looks designed, if that makes any sense. Like there's actually thought put into it. I mean, I also put some thought into the others, but like, you know, when you make a superhero story, which is what I'm developing, you kind of more focus on like the superhero design and stuff, so you care a little less about how they look as normal people, most of the time at least. That's just something I've been noticing in media. For example, like, what's he called, like Mando from Mandalorian. His design looks really cool and all, but like the person beneath it just kind of looks eh. And I mean, it makes sense. You don't really see his civilian form all that much. you just see his armor displayed throughout the entire series, so I thought maybe I don't have to really think about it that much, which is a mistake because, story reasons, not gonna talk about it just yet. So I decided that I would put in, instead of the main characters, a side character, Bella Dawn. Now, I know this sounds a lot like Bella Swan from Twilight, and I swear the inspiration isn't from there. I just wanted something to combine well with the word shadow, because that is her superpower, that she can like basically turn into a shadow-like creature. So I thought Shadella would be kind of cool, so with Bella, and then the surname. Honestly, I'm probably gonna change that surname at some point because I'm not really set on that. So yeah, just deal with it, because I am. Also, I know you're probably not in there yet in the speed paint, but I'm very aware that the symbol on her sweater thing looks a lot like this cookie cat thing from Steven Universe, which is kind of based on, but I tried to make it look more like a bunny, which I failed. I just wanted on her sweater to be like a connection to her power, like, oh, there's like an innocent little silhouette thing that looks like a little bunny or something, and in the background you just see this monster that has like these shadow tails or something that I thought would look cool. Now, something to say about this shadow thing in the background. I accidentally made it look a lot like fire, like it's like made of black flames, which is honestly really interesting because usually I'm really bad at drawing fire in general. But here it just genuinely looks like fire texture, which is kind of funny. Honestly, I still don't know how I want her shadow form to look like. I just know that I couldn't just draw a blob there, which is usually how I draw her, because it just wasn't very interesting looking. So I decided to just kind of exaggerate it a bit, and whoopsie daisy, you have a fire person. You can interpret it the way you want. You can turn it into a fire monster, you can turn it into just a blob like I originally intended it. You can do whatever you want. That's what the Draw This in Your Style challenge is all about, baby. Now, about the character herself, I don't really talk much about my story in the channel, or in general, because I haven't really worked on it all that much yet. Like, I'm writing down a few things once here and there, drawing once in a while what I intend there to happen in the story, but I'm not exactly explaining anything with these characters. I basically just throw them into the air with absolutely no text, and I don't know, I just don't know if I even should in this video. Like, it's supposed to just be about this Draw This in Your Style challenge. This fucking phrase is just a mouth twister. How many times am I going to say this goddamn thing? I don't want to say it anymore. Draw This in Your Style, I'm just gonna ban this word from now on. So maybe this would be like a good opportunity to talk a little bit about it. I'm not going to go too much into detail because I kind of want there to be a bigger video about it one day, but the basic gist of it and how the girl here has anything to do with the story is that the world is actually normal. Like, there's nothing that special about it, except that a stone exists that can grant people wishes. So someone close to them dies after they make that wish, which sparks a lot of drama, always good for stories. The characters I mentioned before, Sophie and Rakesha, kind of become these kinds of people who get wishes and then basically get superpowers from these things. Rakesha's a little bit of a different story on that aspect, but, well, I wouldn't exactly want to spoil anything before it's even out, so let's just skip that. I'm having a massive brain freeze. Why do I never script these? So because of this stone existing, there's also an organization that specifically deals with people who have made a wish and abuses their power. You know, the typical supervillain stuff. You've all seen Marvel, you've all seen My Hero Academia, you've all seen superhero media. It's nothing new. So it's like an organization. Sophie and Rakesha are part of this organization, and Bella here doesn't really like the organization all that much. She basically wished for something that turned her invisible 24/7, and the people in the organization were really interested in that power skill, so they decided to like kidnap her and get her to ask for more wishes under deadly conditions so that she would experience fear and almost death experiences so that she would wish for more and even get more powerful. And yeah, she did not appreciate being an experiment, so she has a huge grudge on it. Now, execution-wise, I don't exactly know yet how to make her be friends with Sophie. I don't want to make this too much into a Mary Sue kind of situation where Sophie just befriends her for no reason, but that's basically what I'm trying to do. This this story is still a mess. But basically, she's like a secret companion to the Foxcast. She's not exactly part of the Foxcast, which is the group that Sophie leads, by the way. I did not mention that before. She doesn't like to help, but sometimes she will assist on certain missions and stuff, but she tries to stay out of it as much as possible. So she isn't exactly a good person per se. She's not like a hero, but she's also not a villain. Or at least in the beginning, she's a villain, but then kind of teams up, but really begrudgingly. Like she really would rather do something else, or, you know, take down the organization that basically tortured her all the time. But the one thing I love about her is that instead of just being someone who's like really edgy or someone begrudging, she's a total troll. This character, who is so edge-looking and sometimes has even the behavior and act like an edgelord, she's an absolute troll. She likes to just mess with people all the time. Like, she will come to the workspace once in a while in just a bunny costume and just confuse everybody on what the hell this is all about. And not like the sexy bunny costume, like just genuinely just a mascot as a bunny. They maybe randomly hide people's pencils somewhere just to spite them. Her entire design is supposed to kind of reflect this kind of trolling mannerism of her. Like, she looks really badass and really angry looking with her face, but like her whole costume, like her whole clothing just screamed girl. If that makes any sense. Like, everything is just pink, everything just looks very cutesy. I thought about exaggerating her clothes a little bit more to really make it look very innocent and really cutesy, but I thought, you know, let's not exaggerate it too much, and I always liked the dress up I came up with her. Honestly, a few things I kind of came up with on the go because I'm still not exactly sure how to design her all that much. Like, for example, the scrunchie on her tail was just kind of out of nowhere. I never intended her to have a scrunchie, but I decided that she should have a scrunchie because scrunchies look really cute. Also, have her have some bows on her to make it look extra cute, but then her hair is like really edge-like her bangs have really strong edges, and her face just looks like, don't come near me, I'm a bad bitch. Something like that, and oh god, I'm gonna have a lot of fun with her. I was always kind of worried about how I dress her up, honestly, because I was never sure if people would actually wear that. Until a friend of mine in art school actually dressed something very similar to what I drew here, and then I just had my confidence shoot up all the way up. I don't know, I just like the idea of there being a sweater that is like a tank top, but the sleeves are still like really long, and I don't know, I just like the look of it. I'm proud of myself. I'm someone who's not very oriented in like fashion and stuff, so I'm glad when I come up with something that looks okay. Now, you obviously would know this even if you were on Twitter, but Bella actually for the longest time wasn't supposed to have red hair. She was actually supposed to have blonde hair for the longest time because I felt like it would suit the color scheme a little bit more. With the pink and blonde, I just thought it would look better until I realized that this would be a massive plot hole in my story. So this is not exactly a spoiler, it's just a mechanic I have with this best stone, but basically when you make another wish on a stone or somehow get more infected by it, your hair actually starts growing red roots, which I know sounds really stupid, but hey, Dragon Ball had like growing hair, golden hair whenever they powered up, so I think I'm allowed to do that. I'm sorry. So basically every time there is another wish coming up, like they absorb stone, their hair automatically changes and also their eyes just get a glowing red color. And for the longest time I did not realize this to be a plot hole because I implemented that I think a lot later because I wanted another character to one day have red hair. And with that I realized that this hair having blonde hair literally makes no sense. And so I decided, okay, you know what, let's see if we can work with the red hair. And the first time I sketched her with the red hair, it looked so wrong. Like there was just something missing. Like it should not look like this. You get that feeling when you change up just a small thing and then it just doesn't look like the character you had in mind for years. That's basically what I had with Bella. Surprisingly, I actually really liked how it turned out in this piece. Like, I could not imagine it as blonde now. It looks so much cooler with the red hair. Now, you might have noticed that I actually did a few new things with the style in this because usually what I do in these kinds of drawings is that I actually put gradients on the whole body because this is a bit embarrassing to admit, but this would be like my cheat layer to make it look better than it actually is. I don't know. Like, I have the feeling sometimes without the gradient, it just doesn't look as good. And so most of the time I have this gradient going on in the characters, which is like almost a trademark of my art style, or digital art style at least. But this time for some reason I couldn't make it work well. Like, I could not make it look good with the gradient. I don't know if it was just my eyes thinking that maybe it would be better to not do that, or I don't know if I suddenly had this enlightenment thinking that I shouldn't just, you know, cheat my way all the time and just try to do something with it. Okay, using different layers and all that stuff and gradients is not cheating per se, but it's, I don't know how to say it. It's like an extra layer of glamour, and sometimes it's nice to just, you know, trust yourself to pick the right colors and the right mood to just, you know, do something. And for some reason this time it just looked better without it. And honestly, I'm kind of proud of myself. It might also have to do with the fact that because the thing I usually do with these gradients is that on the bottom I would use the shadow color to have it darken on the bottom, and then above I would use the gradient of the highlights that I use to make it brighter and all that stuff to have it a proper gradient. But I guess it just made her hair look really weird this time. Like, it didn't look nicely red anymore. And in my brain it was just nah, we gotta keep this color. Another thing I did differently around this time is just to not use the add glow on the layer properties, because usually I use the add glow for the rim lights and all that stuff, but this time I couldn't make it work. And personally I just like how it looks just like that, and this is really rare for me to just, you know, like what I do. Artist mood, am I right? Now, back when I drew this I thought the blue shading was a lot more extreme, a lot lighter than I look at it right now, but it's a lot dimmer than I realized, and you know, I still kind of like the look of it. I wished I had made her eyes glow a little bit, because now it looks a bit weird. And I just realized you can barely see her earrings. What the hell happened there? She has like these ball earrings on her ear and they're basically invisible. What the hell happened there? Okay, note to yourself, Bella doesn't have earrings, you can barely see them. Also, you've probably seen this in the beginning of the speedpaint already, but I tried to sketch up her body a bit more nude-like. Like, it's not just a puppet sketch, it was just really trying to make the body really look like a naked lady. Which, I hope I did a disclaimer on the beginning for nudity. I also did this because I just wanted to not shy away anymore from drawing something naked. Like, I'm not doing porn anytime soon, yet, but... I don't know, I just wanted to try it out and see if I'll still get embarrassed about it. And you know, art school at least kind of helped me on that, trying to not feel too embarrassed about it. But in hindsight, maybe this wasn't a great idea to do that for a public speed paint. So yeah, you'll win some, you lose some. Oh god. Well, it's not like I earn any money from these videos anyway, so just gotta take it from there. I don't even want to know how long this recording is, so yeah, just add me if you do this challenge as well, so I can see how you're interpreting this image. The same with Tumblr and Instagram. Would be great to see that. Also on DeviantArt, but I don't know how it works on DeviantArt, so just gotta hope I see it. Yeah, this is a rather quick video, hopefully, so yeah, I'm still working on the Undertale video, just thought to just pop out something real quick. And someone's meowing all the time again. Yeah, that's great. That won't disturb the recording at all. So yeah, hopefully you're doing this challenge. Even if not, I had fun with it. I hope you had fun watching this video. Have a nice day, and see you next time.